Thank you for joining us today. We have with us Dr. Patrick Quaid, who's an optometrist at the View Cubed Therapy Clinics in Guelph in North York, Ontario. He's an author, and we have another author with us today as well, Elaine Uskoski, who is an author, speaker, and coach, and she's a special interest in the areas of video gaming addiction. Thank you both for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Elaine, why don't you tell us a little bit about your activities and business and the practice that you have in helping parents and their children?
Well, first, for 20 years, I've been running a holistic health practice, which I still run more on a part-time basis now since the video gaming addiction area has broadened. But I also do include the holistic aspect in my coaching with families, because I think, sleep and diet and exercise are important to the package of healing. So I do public speaking at schools and mental health forums. And I, of course, have authored my 2 books, Seeing Through the Cracks and Cyber Sober, A Caregiver's Guide to Video Gaming Addiction. I also am coaching families now, so I will coach the parents as well as the addicted child. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm doing addiction therapy with the child. They may still also be working with a therapist. And I've partnered with Intenta Clinical Training for Gaming Disorder, and we're on a mission to get 100 therapists in Canada trained this year in gaming addiction, so that there is more help, because Canada is really lagging in support systems for families.
Dr. Quaid, why don't you tell us a little bit about the work that you do in your clinics in Guelph and North York, Ontario, and of course the work that you do as an author and an educator and researcher in your practices and beyond.
Thanks, Grant. Be happy to. Well, we have a clinic in Guelph and North York, and I like to say that we empower people and unlock human potential. And the reason why I say that is we're doing it through the visual system and obviously through patients who have eye teaming issues and eye focusing issues. But part of that message is making sure that we're able to bring out the best in every patient that we see, that we make them aware of their own potential and where their strengths and weaknesses are. And obviously we will deal with the visual things, but we try to bring in people from other perspectives when we require them. So being able to help that patient to realize where their difficulties are coming from, if it's from a visual standpoint. And we also are unique in a way that we are also a research clinic, and we actually get a grant from the Canadian government as well, where we collect data as we're treating the kids. So the real cool part is I kind of get to be an academic and a clinician at the same time. So I get to collect data, I get to publish it. We've published a paper in Grace Clinical Archives of Ophthalmology in 2013, where we looked at IEPs versus controls, and we looked at the difference in eye teaming skills between the 2 groups. But what I realized over the years was I had many a parent turn around and say, yeah, it's great you got a PhD, it's great you publish, all that stuff sounds great, but the public doesn't read research papers. You need to write a book. And I thought, because I'm so used to writing in research journals, that writing the book was a challenge for me, because it's more conversational. As an academic, every sentence you state, you have to have 2 or 3 references afterwards. It's really heavy lifting. It was actually it was a liberating experience to write the book, because I could write that, from my heart to a parent to say, hey, this is a conversation over a coffee. I wanted to come across in that tone. And it gives good information in the book about how to navigate the world of if my child has an eye problem, because, your child doesn't come with a user manual. You have to figure out stuff by observing your child. And I think trying to get that book out was also an ode to my mother, because she was the person who really pushed things from a vision therapy standpoint for me. And for me, getting that book out was kind of just getting the message out to other parents that hopefully somebody comes across it and reads it, and some good comes from the book.
We've been enjoying conversation with Elaine Uskoski, who's an author, speaker, and coach, and her interests in the area of video gaming addiction have been very helpful for us to hear today. We're also speaking with Dr. Patrick Quaid, who's an optometrist with the View Cubed Therapy Clinics in Guelph and North York, Ontario. He's the author of the book, Learning to See, Seeing to Learn, Vision, Learning, and Behavior in Children. Thank you both for sharing with us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.